Welcome to Tucson Luxe Living Podcast. I have Brittni Gutman with me. She owns Allstate in Oro Valley. We're going to talk about insurance in a little different way than just some insurance presentation. Let's talk about all the good stuff, the good, bad, and the ugly as far as insurance is concerned. Welcome to the show, Brittni.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you and for being here. Thank you.
All right. So now you're in Oro Valley, Arizona, one of my very, very favorite places in the country. And you've been in the industry now for, you said 16 years?
Yes. Yep. 16 years. I started at 17.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about where you're located, what you do, and then we're going to kind of get into a few things that I think are really, really helpful for our listeners, talking about, asset protection, making sure that you're properly insured, relocating, all of the good stuff. So let's start with talking about what you've got going on and your business in Oro Valley.
So my team and I purchased and established Allstate Insurance Agency. Bruce Unger was the agent prior to me for 25 years, same location. And he's still on my team to this day, semi-retired Bruce. And then I have another retired Allstate agent, Dana Lim, who is also on my team part-time. And then I have 4 other full-time employees in the office, 2 bilingual. We sell auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, retirement plans, umbrella policies. I can do real estate investment properties, bicycle insurance, pet insurance. There's all kinds of things. Every day something new surprises me. Like I said, I've been doing this for 16 years and I have 5 years in State Farm background. So to have a little bit of intel, on both sides of the company, and really just trying to be a part of the community and connect other businesses and help other businesses succeed. And I also support the SaddleBrooke senior softball, the Tucson Road Runners I sponsored last year. So we're out and about a little bit. You might see more of us.
Love it. Love it. All right, now let's talk about individuals who are reaching out to you. And you mentioned this to me before we started the recording, which I think is a great point to talk on. It's not just about necessities, that I have to have insurance on my home. I am required to have insurance on my vehicle. A lot of the homeowners in this area, they are insuring maybe their pets, right? You mentioned that, but their jewelry and other valuable assets that, if there were a fire or there were a loss or something like that, these are items that in some cases are irreplaceable, possibly. In some cases, they are very valuable. So I'd love to talk a little bit about these types of policies, because it's not something that people think of until somebody brings it to your attention. Oh, well, what happens if, your 5-carat, ring is lost? So can we go there for a moment and just talk a little bit about what types of policies you're seeing people gravitating towards, especially in this area where we do have a lot more of the affluent, homeowners with their second homes and people relocating because, we're both from Wisconsin. We're here in Arizona. We get it, right? It's cold. Nobody wants to shovel snow. Let's come down to sunny Arizona and live happily ever after.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the snowbirds, and I love chatting it up with everybody about the Packers and the Bears, but I think what I have gravitated most to, especially in my career and as an agent and the owner of my own business, being able to run my business the way that I want. What's passionate for me is uncovering assets. One of the biggest policies that we write, maybe not per month, but it's definitely bundled with everything, is a personal liability umbrella policy. And I don't think I quoted this originally, but I will put quotes on it and put my name by it because I say it enough to. But your liability limits should exceed your net worth. And people don't look at insurance that way. They look at it like a requirement, like it's just something that I have to have. Well, yes, you have to have it, but if you had only what you have to have and you have more, I mean, if McDonald's can get sued for hot coffee, you can get sued for your landscaper getting stung by a bee on your property. I've seen it happen. So that's the biggest thing that we want to protect. Yes, jewelry is another big thing. A lot of other times we uncover, we have a lot of hikers here in Tucson. Hiking equipment is not cheap, and sporting equipment, binoculars, firearms, everybody has something that they love. Unfortunately, we can't insure sentimental value, but there's definitely, everything's appreciating right now. Alicia, you see it, we all see it. With inflation comes appreciation. So even used cars are appreciating, and that's unheard of in my industry. But yeah, electric bicycles, I've been insuring a lot of those lately. I didn't think I'd see that in my time. Golf carts for sure in SaddleBrooke, Um, but we also have excess liability policies in the event that, because you can only buy up to $5 million in coverage with Allstate. So we have products that we could go elsewhere with that as well. And I sell Mexico insurance if you want to take a trip to Rocky Point.
Which is very common. In fact, I was just there a month ago.
And necessary, I say, common and necessary.
So you're really offering a wide variety of products to people locally. And that's predominantly what we're talking about here is individuals who own, either they live here full time or part time. So do you notice that quite a few of your clients are relocating and contacting you when they move to the area? Are you seeing people with second homes here? What are you often encountering in your business?
Absolutely. I tend to be one of the local agents that tend to be a magnet for state to state transfers. I don't know if it's the Wisconsin ties, but it's also, I'm the furthest north Allstate agent between here and Show Low, really. So that's in my favor a little bit. But the other piece is a lot of people are exploring Airbnb now, so, and that's something that we've expanded our horizons on at Allstate. So that's been nice to keep us in the market with the cool trendy things that are going on. And yeah, we do have the other cool thing that Allstate offers, or that a service that I provide to my customers. Not all agents would probably advise it or offer it, or but most will, I'm so sure. But we can put vehicles in what we call storage coverage, so you're only paying for a minimal portion of your policy while you're back in Washington, or wherever your roots are. So yeah,
I did not know that such a thing existed, but
it
that's
does.
awesome. And it makes a lot of sense because we do have some differences here, being that such a significant percentage of our population is only here part-time. So there are going to be people who are going to leave their vehicle probably in the garage when they're, back at their primary residence in Washington or Oregon or Wisconsin or, I mean, doesn't matter, right? I mean, we've got people from all over. I see license plates from all over.
Yeah. We're the melting pot, like Florida. I lived in Florida before, and it's similar to that here.
Now, let's talk a little bit about how insurance rates are being affected because of supply chain issues that we're seeing currently. So not only are we dealing with inflation, so the costs of things are naturally going up, but for the past couple of years, we've been dealing with these supply chain issues. And in real estate, we're seeing it, obviously affecting build times on new construction because there's just a shortage of this or that or whatever, but it is affecting insurance rates as well on home policies, at least a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. What I've seen is that everything is cyclical. The supply chain shortage, it's not been as a whole, not everything came crashing down. A few months ago, it was the cargo ships were stuck. No one was hauling, excuse me, heavy hauling. And so none of us could get our Amazon, but what's really more so happening is the bigger things like oil, lumber, paper, and those go out one by one, and so we'll see the effects of oil happen early, and then you'll see the effects of lumber, and now we're seeing it trickle into paper, and those are all materials used to build homes, from drywall to the framing to the roof, and sure, we have things now all ulterior mediums, you can steel frame a house rather than using lumber. You could build with brick, whatever, but the reality is the fastest house we build in America is stick and stucco, and what's happening is, and we're seeing it on the car side too, is with the chip shortage, the battery chip shortage. So I have a customer that his car was in a small accident in November. The car is brand new, has 200 miles on it. It's repaired and sitting at Caliber Collision, and they can't release it because they won't give the repair chip to the old cars. They're giving them all, they're putting them all in the new cars to sell 2022 models. So now his rental car ran out 6 months ago, and so those issues are real. And on the home side, estimates are taking 3 weeks before you can get an appointment. I think the pool industry is up to a year and a half out for build, and sure, those are privileged things, but think about it when we have a catastrophe and, you also have a coverage on your homeowner's insurance policy that pays for you to live somewhere else. And you want to make sure that that's adequate because it could be a long time that you'd have to live somewhere else, and not only that, things are costing more because there is the supply chain shortage. So with that, call it extortion, call it whatever you want, but it's reality. And you want to definitely make sure that your insurance keeps up with politics. Essentially, what's happening in the world is insurance is a huge part of that. And I think insurance companies also look ahead. We have to project, and they're also anticipating the high wildfire season this year. And that's going to affect inflation, that's going to affect rates, that's going to affect supply chain shortages as well. Fortunately, in Arizona, we've not had many structural losses with our fires. It's more of a California thing, but who knows,
Well, we've seen some pretty big fires.
Mhm.
You just don't know. Now,
Well,
another
there's I'm sorry.
that's all right. I was just going to say another thing that a lot of people don't think of if they're not living here already is floods, because that is a pretty significant issue for us as well.
Yeah, I would love to shed a little light on floods because I think the common misconception is people think Noah's Ark, like we're gonna have to be on our roofs, like this is, but that's not what happens in Arizona. In Arizona, we have caliche dirt, and the caliche dirt doesn't get this waterfall ever. And so when it rains and it pours, our dirt can't absorb it fast enough. So we get what's called sheet flooding here. And it happens at my home because whoever designed my backyard pitched the concrete slab toward my sliding glass door. Great for me. So we've had to install a French drain. But for the first 2 years, until I could repair that, the water would rise and it would all start coming in through my sliding glass door. Well, that's not covered by your homeowner's insurance because it came in from the exterior at ground level. So if you have a sliding glass door or a backyard and poor drainage, and flood insurance has a standard 30-day wait. So if you call today, it's not bound for 30 days. So it is a great time to start thinking about flood insurance.
We're talking about some really important stuff that I think a lot of people don't think about. And I'd imagine that there are times where people probably should reevaluate their coverage as well. So, from all of your years of experience, what are some of those milestones or those life changes where somebody maybe should reevaluate? Do I have enough coverage? Am I, have I taken a proper assessment and inventory of my assets and, really looked at, am I properly covered?
My best opinion would be a question. And is that, do you have a relationship with your insurance agent? And if you don't, I recommend taking it back old school. Your insurance agent should just be like exactly like the doctor that worked on all 4 of your children. I mean, we should know the things that happen in your lives, but the world is growing and it's going and it's doing its own thing and it's fast and people are online and they can pay their premiums online and they don't have to come into the office. I'm the last to know about solar sometimes. And I'm like, guys, I insure that. I need to know that you remodeled your kitchen. I need to know if your kids moved out. I need to know if one of them's getting married because maybe we need to look at their stuff. And as assets grow or as assets deplete, which is the goal, the goal is to set yourself up big now so you can sell off toward your later years, buy that RV and get out of Dodge, so I want to be in the ebb and flow of all of that. And even if a customer has to leave because they just can't afford it anymore, which can happen, I make it an adamant part of my whole business process. Everyone on my team is trained the same. Not only are you going to get a thank you card from my business that you had all of your years of loyalty, but we're going to get you back someday, as long as it's not something that we did and it's just price. That's okay too. Sometimes, my dad did it. He left and we brought him back. But yeah, I think if you are not in constant relationship with your insurance agent, and by constant I mean like once a year, you know what I mean, that's plenty. Then I would say definitely anytime you make a major improvement, anytime I think people should be paying attention to their renewals and making contact then, but I also believe in my heart that people have lost that community because so many people have gone to these 1-800 routes and don't know what the real experience should be like, just like you and I were talking before the recording about how you just want to be exceptional, nothing less than great. And in my agency, that's what we are too. So solution seekers. And I think that keeping your insurance agent involved in your life changes is muy importante.
I agree. And I think that most of our listeners would also agree. When you value your time, you value your possessions, you value your family, right? You value your home. You don't want to just settle for a subpar experience. You want to know that you're taken care of. And that's really one of the driving forces behind doing Tucson Luxe Living. So I have another business, and that business is wonderful. Why in the world am I also in real estate? It's something that I love. It's something that I'm passionate about. I love helping people have that feeling that you get when you find your dream home. But it should be more than just this transaction. It is about a quality experience, knowing that you're being taken care of, knowing that someone's got your back, knowing that you're not just going to the discount option and you're not fully covered and you don't find out until it's too late. And we want to highlight that. We want to showcase what is amazing in this community. Tucson is a beautiful, beautiful area. And just like everywhere else in the world, right? There's all sorts of options. They're not all created equal. And we just want to bring more awareness to the businesses in the area that are really excelling, exceeding, above and beyond just doing the bare minimum. And that's what I love about you, because you are coming from that place and you really have taken it to that next level in what you offer your clients.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that's very kind of you.
Well, let's talk now about how listeners can connect with you. So whether they're relocating and they need their local Allstate agent, or maybe they're thinking about switching, maybe they do have one of those discount 800 number companies and they know it's time for a better experience. How can our listeners connect with you?
Well, so many ways. My name is uniquely spelled, so I'm just going to spell that because you can Google me, you can Facebook me. It's Brittni, Brittni. And it's Brittni Gutman Insurance Agency. I'm an Allstate insurance agent in Oro Valley. So Allstate Oro Valley, I should be in there on Facebook. My phone number is 520-797-7811. I'm also living in my email, so I can be reached at bgutman@allstate.com. And I think there's a way to click and message me, and you have all access. But I also have, again, a full team. So, and they are a direct reflection of me. I have trained and mentored them, and Bruce and Dana, they don't need it, so everyone is plenty capable of helping if I happen to be, out doing podcasts with Alicia.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So do you think that we covered the most important pieces, or is there anything we missed out on that you want to quickly talk about?
Maybe just one. Allstate does have a product that if you're, like, say, for instance, working from home, or really not driving a lot, maybe retired, we do have a pay per mile program, which I wasn't a fan of at first, but it's grown on me. And I mean, I have this couple that just went on it, and they are working from home, and they've paid a total of $60 over the course of the last 3 months.
Wow.
Because they're just not driving that much. So it kind of has been a blessing for those who are done paying $120 a month for barely moving vehicles.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So yeah, that's
awesome.
it. I'm sure there's more, but come visit. We have a living room at the office. You can sit in it.
Love it. I want to thank you so much, Brittni, for spending time with us. You've enlightened me and probably quite a few people listening to this on things that maybe we weren't aware of before.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to seeing you out and about. And thank you for Tucson Luxe.
Well, it is my pleasure. I want to thank everyone who has watched this episode. Make sure you reach out to Brittni. Of course, if you need any assistance with your real estate needs, I'd love to hear from you as well. And until next time, we will see you in the next episode.